Oh, what is up everyone? This is OJ over here from PlayerEssence and welcome to another PE news video. Today we've got a bunch of great topics for you guys in addition to a discussion at the end, so make sure you stay tuned for that. But let's go ahead and jump right into the news. So December games with gold have been announced for the Xbox 360 and Xbox One, and of course the Xbox 360 games can be played via backwards compatibility on your Xbox One. So Microsoft has announced these Xbox Live games with gold for December 2016. There'll be 2 Xbox One games in addition to 2 Xbox 360 games that will be a free download next month for all Xbox Live Gold members. So the games with gold for December are Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition, that's available from December 1st to the 31st on Xbox One. Outlast, available from December 16th to January 15th on Xbox One. Outland, available from December 1st to December 15th on Xbox 360 and Xbox One, and Burnout Paradise, available from December 16th to the 31st on Xbox 360 and Xbox One. I have to say, this is probably one of the best lot of games that you'll get for games with gold, and the cool thing with games with gold over PlayStation's PS Plus games is that you actually get to keep these games after your subscription runs out, whereas with PS Plus, those games are actually locked behind the paywall of PS Plus. So that's really cool. I highly suggest Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition. That one runs so much better than the Sleeping Dogs on PS3 and Xbox 360. So I know I'm going to be picking up that game next week when it launches. I think that's Thursday this upcoming week. So really cool stuff there. And if you're into some scary thrills, Outlast is actually pretty cool too. Burnout Paradise is actually a really fun game as well. I played that a ton in college with all my roommates. We all had the game playing at the same time. It was amazing as far as multiplayer goes. So all of these games here are pretty freaking good. So pick them all up when you can on Xbox One and of course Xbox 360. Moving on, we have some Pokemon Sun and Moon sales numbers from Japan. So the Nintendo 3DS has sold over 100,000 units on the debut of Pokemon Sun for the week, which is its highest total in quite some time. So together, Pokemon Sun and Moon actually sold more than 1.6 million physical units, in addition to another 3 million or so digital. And the hardware sales were also impressive, totaling over 107,000 units for the week. Really cool stuff there, and this was only in 3 days of sales numbers for the Media Create charts. That's actually really good. Pokemon Sun and Moon, like I've been saying, if you follow me on Twitter, make sure you follow me on Twitter, link in the description below. But yeah, Pokemon Sun and Moon is amazing. It is honestly the best Pokemon game I've ever played, and I'm not exaggerating, and I've played all of them with the exception of Pokemon Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire for the Nintendo 3DS, the remake, but I've played the originals. I've played Pokemon Gold, Pokemon Silver, I've played all of them, Diamond, Pearl, Pokemon Black, White 2, Red, Blue, Yellow. I have played all of the Pokemon games as far as the mainline games, and Pokemon Sun is by far my favorite game because it does so many things to switch up the traditional conventions of the Pokemon franchise. I love the fact that you have trials and then you have Kahuna battles afterwards and captains. I like all the little tweaks that they've done with the 3DS second screen. I like what they did with how you actually travel and traverse. No more HM having to do all that stuff and have a quick access menu to them. There are so many little things that they've done in this game to just make it more appealing and better. The full 3D control as far as analog movement is very good. This is something that they've improved over X and Y, and I think that they actually fixed in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, but I didn't play that one. So I am thoroughly happy and pleased with Pokemon Sun and Moon. If you're still skeptical on this game because, you know, maybe you didn't enjoy the last ones as much or X and Y as much, go out there and pick it up. You're going to have a ton of fun with it. All the Pokemon animate great. The facial expressions, just the battles, they're intense, they're fun. The graphics are good for Nintendo 3DS, especially in battle. Can't wait to see more, and I can't wait for Pokemon Stars on the Nintendo Switch because I think that's going to be an amazing game to have and play on that type of device where you can take on the go and you can play at home. All right, and for the final topic here, we're going to have a little bit of a discussion, and I want to talk a little bit about the flow of what we're going to see for the Nintendo Switch at launch and beyond in the first year or so. So one of the big things about the Nintendo Switch, I think all of us can pretty much agree upon, because there's a lot of fighting between the Nintendo community, of course, is that the Nintendo Switch needs to have a steady flow of games. And I think it needs to have a steady flow of not only third-party games. I think that's important, but I think the biggest thing for the Nintendo Switch is going to be first-party games. What are those games that everyone rushes out to go play? So here are some of my criticisms with the Wii U and how I think the Nintendo Switch is going to rectify those. So one of the big things with the Nintendo Nintendo Wii U, which I think helped it fail, was the fact that it really didn't have a lot of first-party Wii U games online in the first year. Actually, it didn't have any in the first year as far as first-party titles. There were no online games that Nintendo brought out, and I think that was a big mistake. It sent the wrong message as far as to the core users out there. It said that Nintendo does not care about online, and which with the Wii U, they really didn't care about online. It wasn't until Mario Kart 8 where we got an online game. Now, with all the rumors that are swirling around that we're going to get stuff like Splatoon at launch, down the line we're going to get stuff like Mario Kart, Super Smash Bros. For Wii U, Xenoblade Chronicles X. This ensures that not only does Nintendo have more first-party games, but games that users are still playing at this point and that are still really popular and playing online continue that legacy on the Nintendo Switch very early. The last thing you want is your first year full of no games with online play and connectivity. And I think the biggest thing with a lot of these games like Smash Bros, Mario Kart, Splatoon is that they're still actively played so much. There's no reason, in my opinion, to not bring those experiences over as quick as possible as you can to your next system, as those games are more platform titles than they are just singular games on a system. They carry a certain level of fan base, a certain level of pedigree that really just transcend, in my opinion, generations. I think you should always have those games on your system as quick as possible, especially those super popular online multiplayer games like a Mario Kart, like a Smash Bros, like a Splatoon. I just don't want it to be like Wii U where you have to wait a year plus just to get those games, and it might be too late by the time those games come out. So I'm really happy that Nintendo's going to be filling in some of the gaps with these games. It's really going to help the progression of the Nintendo Switch, especially with a lot of the users who didn't buy the system for whatever the case is. But let's also talk about new games here too. I think the new Mario game at launch is going to be massive for the system, and I'll tell you a couple reasons why. We're looking at the sales of Pokemon Sun and Moon. From what we can tell, this is probably going to be the best-selling entry in the Nintendo 3DS. The pre-orders were the highest pre-order game in the past 5 years for GameStop. Why do you think that game is so popular? Well, one, because it's Pokemon, but two, because of Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go helped the popularity with this game when it came to pre-orders, Nintendo 3DS sales, and of course, game sales. So you better bet that Super Mario Run, which is already on the list for 20 million people to get a notification when it launches this December, you better bet that that game is going to help the new Super Mario game on the Nintendo Switch sell like gangbusters. And guys, it's going to do it. We saw this with Pokemon Sun and Moon already. We saw it with Pokemon Go to this. It's going to be the same effect, if not even a little bit better, with this new Mario game, because I think there's going to be direct advertising for Super Mario Run and the Switch once that comes available, once they can do that, like once Nintendo actually puts out the system for there and we know more details. I think you're going to see that marketing within Super Mario Run, and I think that's going to be huge for the Nintendo Switch and for the new Super Mario game. I think that's really going to sell well because of that cross-marketing, just like Pokemon Sun and Moon did with the Nintendo 3DS. 3DS sales are really good. They've actually been some of the best sales that they've had in months, and that's not only because of sales like the $99 Nintendo 3DS that you can get Black Friday, which is kind of hard to find somewhere, but still people are snapping that up. But in addition to just sales just increasing month on month just because of all the games. So I really do think that can have an impact as far as with Super Mario Run to the Nintendo Switch and Mario. And then, going by the rumors, you look at The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild coming in June. So not that many months off from the March release, only a few months there, right there, steady flow. In between that, you can release another port or two. That keeps a steady flow of games, and I'm pretty sure you're going to have a couple third-party stuff. We've been hearing from Dr. Trey, potentially getting Ghost Recon Wildlands, so that gives people time to pick up some of those games, in addition to gearing up for a potential bundle or anything like that that they're going to do with The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I think after that is also going to be very key from the summer and moving on. We could see a Xenoblade, we could see a Smash Bros. Port afterwards, but what else are we going to see? We do know that we're going to have that Rabbids game, Mario Cross Rabbids at launch, which is rumored at this point, and of course there's going to be more. When is Dragon Quest going to release? Is that going to be a fall title for North America, because it's looking to be maybe a May-ish to summer title for Japan, so we have to wait and see on that one. We also have Retro Studios game, which is highly rumored to be a big holiday title for 2017, so there's that. Plus Next Level Games, what are they working on? They could potentially fill that September-ish, October slot, could there be a Luigi's Mansion that we see? That game sold really well on the Nintendo 3DS. I would think that they probably want to bring out another high-quality Luigi's Mansion game for the Nintendo Switch. They're probably going to wait till in October, Halloweenish to release that one. So there's still a lot of stuff and spaces that need to be filled in. What else is the Zelda team working on? What else is Monolith Soft working on? Nintendo still has quite a bit of teams that they need to reveal their games. Plus, there's going to be probably some third-party games out there too. Platinum Games is probably working with Nintendo as well. Will they have a game in the first year or so, like they did with the Wonderful 101? We have to wait and see on that one as well. So let me know what you guys think about the operating flow of how the Nintendo Switch, as far as the game releases, how it's going to be spread out, and what are you most excited for when it comes to Nintendo Switch? What do you want to see the most? What third-party game are you most excited for or want to be revealed on the system? What first-party games are you looking forward to most as far as franchises go? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Alright guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and hit that like button if you did like it. Lets me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future, and subscribe to PlayerEssence for more news, reviews, trailers, tips and tricks, and everything in gaming. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you for the next video. Peace!